prep2prep.com. So open up like a new tab.
Wilcox is projected to win.
So Open Division 1, I think this is more based off of enrollment.
Division 1.
And Palo Alto is predicted to be the top seed. No, Pisa is expected to be 6. See, here's where it gets.
So Wilcox is going to be.
Well, that's based on projections. So if we talk about this stuff, we'll have to preface it with that. It's like these are projections based on Prep2Prep's formula. This is how they think it may go. Now, obviously, with a few weeks left, it'll change. But if they do end up in Open Division 2, that is a gauntlet.
Yeah, they sure do.
That is a gauntlet because you
got to go face Valley Christian and St. Francis again.
Yeah, so you're going to end up with 4 West Catholic teams in that bracket. That's tough.
Yeah.
Which makes all the more important why they got to clean yourself up.
Yeah.
That's live.
Tyler! Tell him it's not plugged in. It's not plugged in.
Yeah, I know. I already told them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you used a lot more than 5 minutes. Actually, good producers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fitzpatrick Field for tonight's the end of the matchup between the Mustangs of Homestead High School and your very own Wilcox Chargers. Now please stand as the black and gold regime plays national anthem under the direction of Professor Rick South.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fitzpatrick Field on the campus of Wilcox High School. Game number 8 on the schedule for the Wilcox Chargers, home game number 4. Hard to believe we are at the second half of the season, but here we are as your Wilcox Chargers are getting ready to take on the Homestead Mustangs in a SCVAL De Anza Division game. Philip Kern alongside my broadcast partner Paul Russell on a very warm October night, a little bit unusual for this time of year, but we are glad to bring you this football matchup tonight, and it looks to be perfect football weather as Wilcox looks to keep its undefeated season intact. Wilcox did win the toss. They will defer, so they will be kicking off from our left to our right. They'll be kicking off towards the south end zone, so the Homestead Mustangs will get the ball first. Back to return this kick will be Harold Rooker III and Aaron O'Dore. As always, doing the place kicking duties will be Isaiah Flores. Flores lines it up, sends this one away. A bit of a shallow kick more than usual. Rucker will field this one right near the 1-yard line, and he will bring this out upfield. Runs right into a crew of Wilcox special teams coverage units. He gets to the 15-yard line. And this will be our first look at the Homestead Mustangs, where, Paul, probably the nicest thing we can say at this point is that this season has been a bit of a struggle for them. They come into this one 0-6, 0-2 in league play, and really not a lot has gone right for them all season.
No, it really hasn't. You know, they've been outscored by their opponents roughly 3 or 4 to 1, and you know, really not a lot on offense that you can speak of. So, could be a rough night here against that Wilcox defense.
Homestead has the ball at their own 15-yard line. They will line up at the hash mark at the far sideline. As we said, they are going from our right to our left. Homestead in their road whites with the green numbers and the green helmets. Wilcox, of course, in their black home uniforms with the gold numbers, which I may mention to you once before, Paul, but I am very much in favor of the new and improved home unis.
Yeah, they are quite a bit sharper and a lot easier to read, especially for my old eyes.
Yes, I was just getting to that as well. In fact, the home uniforms they wore last year now belong to the JV team.
Ah, the old hand-me-downs.
Yes, exactly. First and 10, this is Ryan Damore under center for Homestead. This is the pitch out. Trying to take outside left tackle and absolutely nowhere to go for the Homestead running back. That is Noah Leopepetele. May get me a couple of times to get the pronunciation on that one on a crisp nature, but that is a 2-yard run outside left tackle. And this will be 2nd and 8 coming up for the Homestead offense. They will be going up against a Wilcox defense that is playing a little bit short-handed tonight. Aaron Abense, who is normally their starting nose tackle, he is injured tonight. This moves Isaac Passett inside to the nose tackle position. Isaiah Flores will get some snaps at defensive end. And up once again up the middle, going in between the hashes. And the handoff once again will go to Leia Pepetele.
Yeah, it looked like they were maybe trying to take a little bit of advantage to see what that replacement nose tackle looked like. Really did a pretty good job there. Not a lot there, not a lot of running room there.
Something else that we also mentioned, and we did talk about how Aaron Abense is injured. He is out tonight. He is not suited up. Diego Castillo, who has seen some time at running back this year, is also injured as well. He was on crutches and really wasn't putting any pressure on that left leg.
Yeah, it really didn't look so good. Hopefully that's just a bad sprain, and he'll be back in next week for Milpitas, because they'll need all of them.
The temptation, of course, is to look ahead to that Milpitas matchup, but first things first, the Wilcox Chargers have to take care of business here, and as a timeout has been called on the field early on by the Homestead Mustangs, we can let you know that we can catch you up on what happened last week. Wilcox may feel like they had gotten away with a close one last week against the Los Gatos Wildcats. Did come away with a 25-19 victory, however, 5 turnovers in that game, so obviously that was a big point of emphasis for head coach Paul Rosa going into today's game. In fact, we got a chance to catch up with him after that game, and even though Wilcox had faced one of the biggest tests of adversity there, he did admire how they were able to pull through it, but his main point of emphasis, take care of the football.
And we've really said that all season. You know, they need to take care of the football and really just be more disciplined and avoid the mistakes.
3rd and 5 for Homestead from their own 20-yard line. The fake pitch is going to be a take. It's actually going to be pitched out again to their starting tight end, Jared Wade. Gets across the 25-yard line and gets enough for a first down. So Homestead is able to move the sticks. And Paul, we were looking at some of the numbers for Homestead coming into this one. It's very unusual that you see a tight end who is your starter, who's also your leading rusher.
Yeah, I don't ever recall seeing that. But they seem to like that gadget play that they run with the double pitch there.
Gain of 11, so that will be a first down. Demore is going to drop back. He's being chased down by Brizuela. Gets it out of his hands, and that is to Leia Pepetele in the flat towards the Homestead sideline. However, hardly any gain on that play. They will officially mark it as no gain on that one, but you can definitely tell with Brizuela going off the block into the backfield for that one, he really had Demore in his sights.
Yeah, he was running for his life. I mean, he had drawn a bead on him and just about had him, so he had to get rid of that thing, and that was the only place he could go.
So no gain on that play. 2nd and 10 for Homestead. Have the ball back towards the near hash mark, right near the Wilcox sideline. A little bit of movement on the Wilcox side of things, and the handoff right up the middle to Wade. He's got a whole lot of room up the middle. Singh able to drag him down, but not before getting into plus territory. However, a flag on the play. So as of right now, this looks to be a 20-yard run by the starting tight end, Jared Wade, but we'll have to wait and see what the penalty flag is. And we had the luxury this time of having the referee audible over the sound system, so that's definitely going to clear up a lot of things for us tonight as far as how the penalties go.
There's no flag on the play for horse collar.
So the flag initially was for a horse collar tackle, but they will pick that flag up. So 2 first downs on this opening drive for Homestead, and they're looking pretty good so far as they're into Wilcox territory at the 44-yard line of the Chargers.
Yeah, that was a little unusual. Paul Rosa actually missed the tackle on that, and fortunately there was somebody in the neighborhood that could finish it off.
Singh was the one who made the tackle. 1st and 10 once again. Leia Pepetele bouncing outside right tackle. He gets across the first down marker, gets to the 35-yard line. And I got to tell you, Homestead is coming out looking very good on this opening drive here.
Yeah, they really are. They've come out and really got off the ball well. They've actually shown pretty solid execution here. You know, certainly a lot more of an offense than we expected.
Gain of 9 officially on that play, so this will be 2nd and 1 as they find themselves at the Wilcox 34-yard line. Again, opening drive here for the Homestead Mustangs on this October night here at Wilcox High School in Santa Clara. Glad you're able to join us here on the Charger Sports Network.
It's like the chain gang's trying to get something sorted out there.
In fact, they are going to give them that extra yard, so it is another first down. So 3 first downs on this opening drive for Homestead, and they're looking very good here. They move Latini in motion. They hand off once again to Leia Pepetele, but ran right into a wall of Wilcox defenders. That was led, of course, by number 60, Isaac Cassette, who is moving inside tonight in case you just joined us. Aaron Abense is not in the lineup tonight. He is on the sideline. He is in jeans tonight, but I'm sure they want to make sure he is healthy and ready to go for their big matchup next week against Milpitas.
Yeah, he actually looks like he's moving okay on the sideline, so hopefully that's a good indicator for next week.
Loss of 1 on that one. 2nd and 11 coming up for Homestead. Handoff to Wade once again, outside right tackle, and he is just a load to bring down, and he is causing all sorts of problems for this Wilcox defense. And as well as they played, they are looking a little flat here on this opening drive as Homestead is across the Wilcox 30-yard line, getting ever closer to that red zone.
Yeah, you know, we kind of talked about that before the game. I mean, one thing you have to watch for when you're dealing with an opponent that's having a rough season is that you don't look past them, and I hope Wilcox hasn't done that tonight.
3rd and 4 at the Wilcox 27. DeMore back under center. 3 backs in the backfield. And handoff once again to Wade. Trying to go inside right tackle on that run. And based on the spot that they're giving him, it might be a tad bit short, and that looks to be the case.
See if they actually bring that out for a measurement. Looks like they are. Oh, no.
So they rule it short. So it will be a 4th and 1, so a no-brainer for Homestead as they leave the offense on the field. Tackle was made by Samuel Alolo, who is in the game as the starting defensive tackle. So 4th and 1, this could be a big 4-down stop here for Wilcox if they can get it. Ball's out there, 25-yard line. Handoff once again to Wade, and that's an easy call to give it to Wade in that short yardage situation, and he easily got the first down and then some. And for the first time this evening, Homestead is in the Wilcox red zone. We'll mark this at the Wilcox 19-yard line and being very methodical with moving the ball down the field in the early going.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, you know, of course, Wade is big for a high school running back at 6'1", 190. So, as you said, he's a load to bring down and runs north and south pretty well.
1st and 10, Latini in the backfield. They will send him in motion. DeMore with the pitch out. It's to Lea Pepe Tele. A couple of Wilcox defenders with him. A flag comes in at the end of the play, and the tackle was made by Robert Padilla, outside left tackle. However, as we mentioned earlier, a flag in at the end of that play, and we will see what the call is. But the way things are going right now, it might be against Homestead, but we'll await the official word.
Face mask.
Yeah, that looked like it could have been a face mask. A lot of times on those outside runs like that where they're trying to bring them down,
Telly.
Face mask. And unfortunately, that's not a great call for Wilcox because that's been their Achilles heel all year, the penalties.
So the face mask penalty against Wilcox, it brings Homestead ever closer. And it was already a solid run by Lea Pepe Tele at the early going. So 1st and 5 at the 14-yard line for Homestead. Latini goes in motion from left to right. Lea Pepe Tele gets the ball up the middle once again and gains a yard on that play. And they're really challenging this Wilcox defense right up the middle. And so far, Homestead's been finding some early success.
Yeah, they really have. And you wonder if maybe having their backup nose tackle in there is affecting them just a little bit. They seem to be picking on them a little.
13th play of this opening drive here for Homestead, and they've really been milking this clock down here. 5:58 and counting to go here in this first quarter. Latini takes it to the outside, and great pursuit by Rohan Pulivati as he combined with Malvini on that tackle. But you can really see a little bit of a concerning trend here as Homestead is really putting this game at its own tempo, at their own desired tempo early on. You do get a first down on that play, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 7.
Yeah, they've just really marched down the field and executed, very solidly all the way down the field. Wilcox, having that one miscue on a face mask did not help themselves a lot.
Clock continues to run, 5:28 and counting here in this first quarter. Homestead is threatening to put some points on the board early on, and they've not really had to throw the ball at all to get down here to where they're going. So a very good running attack to get things started. And a lot of confusion here on that side, and unfortunately for Homestead, it's already the 2nd timeout they've had to burn here in this first quarter. So for head coach Milo Lewis, it's a bit of an inauspicious start for him. And we were actually trying to get a chance to reach out to him to talk about the season, and we weren't able to connect with him, unfortunately. So at that point, from what I've seen so far, not to sidetrack a whole lot, Homestead at this opening drive, they've been looking pretty good.
Yeah, he may have been all locked up trying to put that game plan away.
He could have been, yeah.
It certainly looks like he put some time into it because so far it's been all Homestead.
Well, and it's important to note as well that Wilcox did win the toss and he decided to defer. So this is only the opening possession of this drive, but already you can see what the game plan is to really slow play things and limit the amount of possessions that Wilcox is going to get, because I think everybody knows how explosive they are.
Yeah, they are, but usually their defense has been the story of the game, and so far not.
14th play of the drive, the handoff to Wade. Gets inside the 5-yard line and doesn't get much further, so this will remain 2nd and goal. And they will mark it on the 4. That is Isaac Passett with the tackle from the nose guard position. And the official marking is going to be a 1-yard gain, so 2nd and goal from the 6.
Yeah, that was pretty solid play by Isaac. Got a little bit of penetration and was able to get a hand on the guy early and bring him down. So if he continues to do that, I think they'll be just fine.
This will be the 15th play of this opening drive, and they are taking off a lot of time from this clock here in the first quarter. We're already at 4:30 remaining here in the first quarter. Wilcox has not touched the ball yet. Lea Pepe Tele going outside right tackle, and a nice stop once again by Brizuela coming from across the defensive line to make that stop. And again, this will be a 3rd and goal. And I don't think Lea Pepe Tele got much further than a couple of yards.
No, he sure didn't, and that was the great pursuit we've seen all year from the Wilcox defense from the inside out, and really a great open field tackle there to stop a touchdown.
3-yard gain makes this 3rd and goal from the 3. Harold Rucker III is split out wide to the left. Here's a handoff to Wade. He's going to dive over the right guard, and he's going to be about a yard short of the goal line. There's a 16th play of this opening drive for Homestead, and with this being 4th and goal from the 2-yard line, this has got to be a no-brainer. They have to go for it.
Yeah, we'll see what does look like they're keeping the offense on the field and they're not bringing a kicker in. So I would say they stick with what's working. And worst case, you leave them a long yardage to pick up.
4th and goal from the 2. Can Homestead kick it in to get this thing going? Lea Pepe Tele takes the handoff, goes around right tackle, and he is in. Touchdown for the Homestead Mustangs. Lea Pepe Tele takes it from 2 yards out, right around right tackle, and Homestead with an early 6-0 lead.
Yeah, they drew first blood there, but, I mean, again, just very solid execution. I mean, nothing terribly fancy. They didn't, I think they had one missed pass, but other than that, very solid runs.
So Marco Silva is out for the extra point. Snap is down, the kick is away. It looks good, and it is good. And so with 3:10 remaining here in this first quarter, a bit of a stunning start here, to say the least, for this Homestead Mustangs offense, as they capitalize on a 17-play, 85-yard drive to get things going. And as a result, they now lead 7-0.
And worse yet, they've taken 9 minutes off the clock. I mean, they really chewed up a bunch of time in that drive. And if you're Paul Rosa, you got to be a little concerned here with your defense on its first outing.
Maybe a lot of concern early on, and as we mentioned, Aaron Abense, and I know we've talked about this already, but he is injured. He's not in this game, and so they've had to shuffle some personnel on the front 7 especially. Isaiah Flores is going to see some time at defensive end, and Isaac Passett is moving inside to play nose tackle, so maybe still trying to get things figured out as far as the chemistry along those lines. You also talk about how an offensive line needs chemistry. I think you could say the same for a defensive line too.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, but in my experience, the defense, because it's not so dependent on timing in most cases, usually comes together a lot quicker.
Gabe Solorio with a pooch kick. This is going to roll right into the arms of the returner. And this is going to be a fairly good return. It's Matt Cintas who's going to take it up the near sideline. And near midfield is where he will take it. And this is where the Wilcox offense will take over. We're going to finally get a chance to see him for the first time this evening with 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, in previous outings, we've usually seen him 2 or 3 times by now. And it's unusual we are all the way in almost 3 minutes and haven't seen him yet.
So Wilcox will get their first possession starting out at their own 47-yard line. As we've been used to seeing, this is a very potent, dangerous offense. The first handoff is to Rosa, and he gets to midfield and not much further. Tackle made by Taylor Jordan, the senior defensive end, who will play some linebacker tonight. So this will be a gain of 3, and it's now 2nd and 7. Definitely tell quite a difference in energy on our side of the field. Of course, the last time we were here a couple weeks ago, it was Homecoming 2018, so it definitely stands to reason. 2nd and 7 from midfield, and they will give it to Herrera this time. And he had all sorts of space in front of him, and Herrera turns on the Jets, and he is gone. Touchdown, Wilcox. Gabe Herrera sliced that through that defense like a hot butter knife, and it's now 7-6 Homestead.
Yeah, I mean, he broke that first tackle, and that was all she wrote. He was off to the barn, and you know, another fantastic run. I mean, that 1-2 punch with Rosa and Herrera is pretty tough to stop.
Well, Rosa has been getting a lot of the headlines, and deservedly so, but Herrera is a great running back in his own right, and you can see he is deceptively fast. He just got away from that secondary, and they hardly even touched him. A 50-yard run to put Wilcox within 1. Paul Rosa is out to kick the extra point. Adame is there for the hold. The snap is good. The kick is up, and it is good. And just like that, a ruthless mark of efficiency here. Less than a minute on the field for this Wilcox offense, and we're already tied at 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's been sort of the hallmark of Wilcox all year. You know, their offense has been incredibly efficient, you know, with, you know, that running game. And you know, they also have had a pretty effective passing game. You know, we don't talk about Adame a lot throwing the ball, but, you know, he has definitely put up some decent numbers. You know, he's thrown for about 760 yards this year so far. So nothing to slouch at, 100 yards a game.
Not at all, and what's really impressive, and this is really a hallmark of any good high school quarterback, is a completion percentage, and he is just north of 60%, which is especially impressive considering how few times he actually throw the ball to begin with.
Yeah, it really is. So he's incredibly efficient, which is, you know, a nice fit for this offense.
Flores is back to kick this one away. And he's going to send this one through. It's got a little bit more depth on that kick. Rucker is into the end zone. This will be a touchback. Probably thought he had a little bit more room than he did, but for Flores, more than half of his kickoffs have gone for a touchback, so this is nothing new for us, but it just shows how strong of a leg he has.
He really does, and I think earlier this year we saw him try for and just about make a 40-yard plus field goal.
That's true.
So for a high school kicker, he's got a heck of a leg and a great accuracy.
So Homestead with their 2nd possession of the night. In case you just joined us, they did have an opening drive of 17 plays, 85 yards, and drained almost 9 minutes off the clock, so they'll definitely want to do that again. Moore with the snap. He will drop back, rolls out to his right, came across some pressure and goes back to his left, gets that one out and did well enough just to get that ball away. It is incomplete, intended for Wade towards the far sideline, but he had to really duck, dodge, and weave all the way out of the way of some Wilcox pass rush. Flores nearly had a hand on him. Brizuela nearly had a hand on him. And after all that, it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he was absolutely running for his life. I mean, they had a immediate penetration, and as soon as he turned around, you know, he had somebody right there in his face, and he went the other direction, and there was somebody there to greet him. So good job to get the ball away. Sometimes you just have to throw it away.
2nd and 10 in between the hashes, 2:12 remaining. And once again to Lea Pepe Tele, and absolutely nowhere to go for him. And that was Flores with the tackle. He's seen some time at the defensive line. And so this will be a gain of 1. This makes it 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it looks like Paul Rosa might have had a little conversation with his defense, because this looks a lot different than the last time they were out there.
It does. My spidey sense is telling me the yards are going to be a lot tougher to come by than that opening drive.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have quite the success this time.
3rd and 9 from their own 21. Rucker, the third, is split out wide to the left. And DeMoore is going to drop back, rolls to his left, and he's going to be brought down for the sack. Isaiah Flores finishes the job this time, and it looks to be a 3 and out for the Homestead Mustangs. And not quite the same results that they had on their opening drive, and out comes the punt team.
Yeah, that was great execution, and you can really see that Wilcox pass rush has been incredibly effective tonight. The quarterback hasn't had any time to throw.
So Gabe Solorio is back to punt for Homestead, and he's really got a pick your poison type of moment. He's got Ryan Cooper Jr. and Aaron Singh back to return the punt. Really, it's a no-win proposition who you kick it to.
It certainly isn't. There's no good answer there.
Solorio with a high kick. This will not even flip the field, and this will just roll to a stop at the 41-yard line, and that is where Wilcox will take over with 39.4 seconds left here in the first quarter. A opening drive that was so promising for Homestead starting out, but a 3-and-out now, and what's worse is Wilcox will get the ball in plus territory. They're at the Homestead 41.
Yeah, and it looked like the Wilcox defense decided to show up on the second series there. Really solid execution on that 3-and-out, and actually held Homestead to negative total yards on that series.
So Wilcox will now take over at the Homestead 41, 1st and 10. Herrera is in the backfield, 3 wide in this set. Adame is going to drop back to throw. Goes towards the far sideline. In and out of the hand of Dominguez. It is incomplete, and this will be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that was a little bit ill-advised.
Pass was intended for Dominguez towards the Wilcox sideline, so this will be 2nd and 10. Ball at the Homestead 41, 34.9 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Start that was a little bit surprising by Wilcox standards, as they allowed Homestead to march down the field 85 yards for a touchdown to get the scoring started. Rosa and Herrera in the backfield. Cooper Jr. split out wide to the right in this formation. Adame takes the snap. It's to Rosa again, and he goes absolutely nowhere, which that's a very rare thing we can say all season long. Taylor Jordan comes in from the defensive end side to make the tackle. Gain of 1 on the play, so 3rd and 9 from the Homestead 40.
Yeah, it looked like, I thought he might have picked up a couple yards there, but it looks like he barely crossed the line of scrimmage there.
7 seconds left on this one, so we will see if Wilcox snaps the ball for this last play of the first quarter. And it doesn't look like they're going to get the ball off. And with that sound, that will be the end of the first quarter. And not quite what we expected here at the start, but there's still 3 quarters of football left. And at the end of one, we are deadlocked at 7. You are watching Wilcox Charger football on the Charger Sports Network. More to come after this short break. Ready to begin the second quarter here at Fitzpatrick Field at Wilcox High School. All tied at 7 here in this October game here of the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League De Anza Division. You pitch out to Rosa. He's going to get to the edge and does. Crosses the 30 for a first down, and he's got a whole lot of speed. Gets it beyond the Homestead defense and very well into the Homestead red zone. So a first down and then some, as Rosa showing off that trademark speed that we have gotten so used to all season long.
Yeah, you see that nice bounce move that he's got outside. He started to turn it up around the tackle and saw that the outside was open and just turned on the jets and picked up about 25 yards, it looked like there.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the Homestead 16-yard line. Wilcox in the red zone for the first time. Dami takes the snap. Rosa up the middle. He's got a whole bunch of room there. He is dragged down by a couple of Homestead defenders. He gets the first down, but it may have been a touchdown-saving tackle by Israel LaRue coming over from the cornerback side of things to stop him, but it's a goal-to-go situation here. It's a 13-yard run by Rosa, and 1st and goal from the 3. Adame back under center. Dominguez split out wide to the right. He's the only receiver in this formation. And Adame will take it himself. It's actually going to be a handoff to Herrera. He had me fooled on how well he sold that fake. And this will be a gain of 1. They're actually signaling touchdown for the Wilcox Chargers. So bit of a muted reaction there. Wasn't sure what to make of it. But it is Gabe Herrera with the carry. It is a touchdown for him from 3 yards out. And it's now Wilcox with a 13-7 lead.
Yeah, and unfortunately when Herrera came up out of that pile, he was favoring his left leg a little bit. As he came to the sideline, it looked a little better, but hopefully it's just one of those things where he popped his ankle a little and feels better.
So second touchdown run for Herrera already on the night. Rosa is out to kick the extra point. Ball is snapped and Rosa gets us away. The whistle blows the play dead. And it's a false start on Wilcox, so this will back up the kick attempt by 5 yards. And you can see there was a little bit of movement.
False start on the Chargers. They'll try it again from the 8-yard line.
Once again, the penalty is starting to affect Wilcox a little bit. That's their second one from my count. And this will back the kick attempt up 5 yards.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. That is the second one that they've had. And I don't know. I guess because it was a dead ball foul, the kick didn't count, but it didn't look like that kick was good anyway.
Well, if it wasn't good, Rosa will have another chance at it. They back it up. Here's the kick on the way from Rosa. This one looks very good, and it is good. And so with that extra point, Wilcox is now back in front. 14 unanswered for the Chargers as they take a 14-7 lead over the Homestead Mustangs, as a much better start here in this second quarter, as really, even though a lot of the focus will be on this opponent, the fact that we are in game number 8 of the regular season, we're going to have to start focusing our attention towards the playoffs here in a couple of weeks, and a lot of things can happen before Wilcox gets their seeding and determination of where they could end up.
Yeah, I mean, they, so far they're, sitting atop the De Anza League, but, next week the game against Milpitas is going to be for, probably all the marbles, because Milpitas has certainly looked better toward the latter half of the season.
Really, until stated otherwise, Milpitas is the de facto king of the hill.
Yeah.
But Wilcox will have an opportunity to secure a De Anza League title if they can secure this one. And then, of course, the game next week. Here is Flores' kick. Odor will field it inside the 5, looking for a bit of a running lane, and he's got absolutely nowhere to go. Good tackle there by Sebastian Vila on the special teams coverage unit, and Homestead will take over deep into their own territory. It looks to be at their own 17-yard line. And Homestead, which had such a great opening drive, they had a 3-and-out, much to their detriment because they couldn't even flip the field on Wilcox. So they will get the ball at their own 18-yard line.
Yeah, and not only that, negative yardage on that last series. So, definitely Homestead needs to go find their mojo here.
Well, they found their mojo by going to their best player, Jared Wade, who is their tight end, but they do utilize him in the run game. So let's see if they go back to that well early on. Latini with the handoff, trying to go outside left tackle. He does, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not much further. A gain of 2 on that play. Rohan Poulavati makes the stop. And Poulavati has been such an effective linebacker for them, as they will make that a 5-yard gain on that one. Looks like Latini got more yardage than what we could see from our vantage point. But Poulavati leads the team in tackles, and he's really been a stabilizing force for this Wilcox defense.
Yeah, he really is a leader, in terms of the energy he brings to the game. But, as you said, Phil, I mean, he absolutely is their leading tackler, and, somebody that Paul Rosa looks for as a leader on this defense.
2nd and 5 coming up for Homestead at their own 23-yard line. Rucker the third is split out wide to the right. Only receiver in this formation. Handed off to Wade. And may have lost some yards on that play. That was, you guessed it, Isaac Passett, who was in on that tackle, and they look to have stopped him for no gain on that play. But Passett is going to play a big role, who is replacing Aaron Abensay, who, like we said, is injured already. But Passett's making some big plays early on from the defensive line.
No, he is. He's certainly settled down into the position, and I think we've called his name twice tonight, Phil. Is that right?
Yeah. Especially on this one, a 1-yard loss on that play. So this will be 3rd and 6 for Homestead from their own 22. Handoff trying to go up the middle again. And that was Latini on the carry, but not much doing for Homestead. And that was Ray Orozco who made the tackle. And so it looks to be another 3 and out for Homestead. That's a gain of 3 on that play, so 4th and 3 coming up for Homestead. But this time they don't seem to be bringing out the punt team. In fact, it is still quarterback Ryan Demore who is out there, but timeout on the field for Homestead. So that's the final timeout they will use here in the first half. 9:30 to go here in this second quarter with Wilcox leading this one 14-7.
Yeah, you know, kind of a strange situation because Homestead has burned up all of their timeouts, and it's been hard to figure out exactly what they've used them for. You know, certainly in this situation, I'm not sure down just 7 points in the first half, I would leave the ball in Wilcox's hands as close to the door.
Well, I just got a score update, just kind of looking back on the season. If you remember, Wilcox's season opener was against Valley Christian in the West Catholic Athletic League. They got a tough one tonight against Sarah up in San Mateo, and I just got a score update right now. Valley Christian leading Sarah 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. They seem to have definitely righted the ship after their season opening loss.
Wow. And
Solorio gets the snap. He bobbles it off his helmet.
Oh,
it's a block by Flores, and it goes in and out of the hands of his teammate. I believe that was Passett, who could not hold on to it, but Flores just came flying in from the line of scrimmage. It's a blocked punt, and so Solorio cannot get the punt away, and special teams once again playing a big role for Wilcox.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's big going on tonight is the number 1 and number 2 team in the nation are playing each other tonight.
Yes, that's right. It's St. John Bosco and Mater Dei.
Yeah, so that'll be a big game. I kind of like Mater Dei in that one.
Well, Mater Dei is a California powerhouse. In fact, if you follow college football at all, their quarterback was supposed to be JT Daniels, but he graduated a year early so that way he could be part of the USC football program. And so with that, Mater Dei, they just don't seem to miss a beat.
No, and I think JT probably wishes he'd stayed another year. He's having a rough year at USC.
Well, I mean, when you're starting as a true freshman, you'd have to be pretty exceptional. And I think with USC, with Clay Helton, they probably thought he was the quarterback that would help them best win games immediately. I mean, he is paid the big bucks to make that big decision. You can probably say at least that it has not fared too well. USC has definitely struggled, to say the least. But, I mean, again, it's very rare that you see a quarterback that is talented enough to even be considered a starter for a prominent program like USC.
Yep. You know, I think they may rule this a fumble because a Wilcox Chargers player tried to field the ball and dropped it, so they may actually call this a fumble.
You know what? I think you might be right because the Wilcox offense started to get out to the field, and then they came back. Now the Wilcox defense is out on the field once again, so Homestead may have caught a break there with all that craziness that was out there. So I think maybe with Passett not fielding that one cleanly, they did rule that a fumble. So that's a good eye on that one by you, Paul. And Homestead will take over at their own 25-yard line.
An odd way to make up some yards there.
That's definitely unorthodox. A blocked punt and a turnover by Wilcox in a very odd way. So even after all that, it gets them up to the 25-yard line. And I think there's still some confusion here because there is definitely a delay in the game action right now as the officials are trying to sort this whole thing out. And I think head coach Paul Rosa is wanting an explanation as to what the heck is going on out there.
Yeah, my guess is he probably had some questions on that call.
I don't blame him in the slightest.
Because it took him a long time to rule that, and it actually, from my vantage point, did look like it was a fumble. So I was a little surprised it took that long.
So Homestead takes over at their own 26. Lea Pepe Tele will take the handoff, but he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Nick Malvini, but he does fall forward for a gain of 1. But Malvini, coming in from that safety side, stops Lea Pepe Tele before he can get any further. So gain of 1 on that play, 2nd and 9 for Homestead coming up. 8:58 and counting to go in this first half.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he just about lost his life, too, because Ray Orozco was right there. And if he hadn't have turned that up, he was certainly going to get net very quickly by Mr. Ray.
So after that 1 yard gain, Homestead is at their own 27-yard line at the right hash mark. 2 wide receivers to the left in this formation. It is Rucker the third and Odor. And they're going to air this one over the middle and overshot Rucker the third in between the hash marks. Singh was there with the coverage, but he was one of 3 Charger defenders that was surrounding Rucker the third.
Yeah, really not a lot of places to go there. And Singh looked like he might have had a little bit of a play on that ball if he'd been just maybe a half step longer on it.
They definitely tried the element of surprise on that last play. We've only seen DeMoore throw it 3 times, including that attempt. This is now 3rd and 9 from their own 27. Clock stops at 8:30 remaining in the first half, and Wilcox potentially with another opportunity to score another 3 and out.
Yeah, absolutely. And DeMoore has not shown great quarterback efficiency, so that was a little strange of a call.
DeMoore will drop back once again. A screen pass, and going out to the flat was Odor, and he was not able to get a hold of that one. That is incomplete. So 2 incomplete passes. This is now another 3 and out. And the punt team will come out for Homestead once again. And perhaps this time, hopefully for Wilcox's sake, somebody other than Passett will get a hand on the ball, because as we saw from that last sequence, it turned into a fumble. So I think Wilcox this time would love to have either Cooper Jr. or Singh in possession.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure Mr. Cooper would like a shot at that ball.
Solorio back to punt once again. Gets this one away this time. Much better kick. Cooper Jr. will field it at the 35-yard line. He brings it towards the near sideline. It doesn't get much further. He is tackled at the 49-yard line. That was Wade who forced him out of bounds. And so Wilcox, after a strange set of events, they will get the ball at the Homestead 48-yard line, and that is where, actually their own 48, and that is where they will take over. 8:15 left to go here in this first half with a 14-7 lead.
Yeah, and that certainly looked, you know, the second series in a row we've seen the Wilcox defense looking like their normal selves.
A far cry from the opening drive where they allowed 17 plays and 85 yards, going right down the field on them. So the Wilcox defense looking a lot better. Let's see what the offense can do to stretch this lead. Adame going towards the far side and looking for Cooper Jr. and badly underthrew that one, incomplete as the throw was going up. Cooper was going downfield a little further than the throw.
Yeah, that was a little unusual for Adame. Usually he's got very good accuracy on that. I don't know if it was a timing issue where he expected Cooper to be somewhere else, or he just was a little off balance when he threw that.
I think the former was probably the case, because Cooper was just going straight down the field. It wasn't even looking for the ball. So I think you're probably correct. It may have been a miscommunication on that side. 2nd and 10 from their own 48. Hand off to Rosa once again. Breaks through a couple of tackles. Nice stiff arm on Leo Pepe Tele as he crosses the 35-yard line. Gets to the 33, and it's a first down for Rosa. A 17-yard run to get them into Homestead territory.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, we've seen out of Rosa all season is, you know, he can hurt you by getting outside, but he can also hurt you up the middle. And just when you think you have him, he's broken it for another 10 yards.
Adame back under center. Rosa and Herrera in the backfield per usual. And the handoff is once again to Rosa as he fights for some tough yardage. Gets across the 30-yard line to the 29. 3-yard gain on that play as Rosa continues to shoulder the load a little bit on this drive, but it's been Gabe Herrera who has all the offense so far with 2 touchdown runs in the early going. But especially impressive considering that Rosa last week against Los Gatos had 100 yards both rushing and receiving.
Wow. Yeah, he's their 2nd leading receiver, I believe, Phil.
You might be right on that one. Give goes to Herrera up the middle as they continue to attack that front 7 for Homestead. And they get ever closer to that Homestead red zone. That is a gain of 6. So this will be 3rd and 1. They need to get to the 21-yard line for, it looks to be the 23-yard line here for a first down.
Yeah, they got about a yard to go. I misspoke. He's their leading rusher and leading receiver.
Ha! Well, there you go.
Up to a couple weeks ago, it was Cooper.
3rd and 1. They hand off once again to Herrera and gets more than enough. Actually, that was Adame with the quarterback keeper. And this will be more than enough for a first down, tackle at the 19-yard line. And so Wilcox is in the Homestead red zone for the 2nd time this evening. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here in Santa Clara, but still not cold by California standards. Have to preface it with that one, of course. Adame with the fake handoff to Herrera. He ends up keeping it himself. And gets to the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 4 on the play. So 2nd and 6 coming up from the Homestead 15.
Yeah, respectable gain by Adame on that. Worked the first time they decided to go right back to the well again.
So it ends up being a 3-yard gain for Wilcox on that QB keeper by Adame. And of course, Adame was a major culprit for all the turnovers last week. He had 2 by my count. And of course had the interception as well. So he had a very hard time with ball security. Going for the end zone, looking for Cooper. He makes the catch but could not get the feet in bounds. Nice idea on that one by Cooper Jr. However, he could not beat the coverage enough. And that was Odor who was running with him step for step. But you can see that is a mismatch that definitely Wilcox would love to exploit.
Yeah, they would like that all day long. You know, it's interesting. I almost expected to see a pass interference flag because the Homestead defender definitely had a hand on him. But he also had his back to the referee, so there's no chance the referee saw that.
3rd and 7 from the Homestead 16-yard line. There is Cooper and Odor in that matchup that we saw last time. And the pitch to Rosa. He bobbles it, but he is able to recover it. And Jared Wade takes advantage of it and tackles him near the original line of scrimmage. So a loss on that play for Paul Rosa and a very uncharacteristic mistake as he bobbled that pitch. So the ball goes back to the 19-yard line, and it will be a 4th and 10 coming up for Wilcox, but it appears they're going to keep the offense out on the field. No sign of Isaiah Flores coming out to attempt the field goal, which as of right now would be a 36-yard attempt, so it's well within his range from what we've seen, but I think they want the Wilcox offense to gain a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, I would say you're absolutely correct there, Phil.
4th and 9. Adame pitches out to Rosa. He's got some room in front of him. He's going to get close to a first down. He is stopped by Odor. They do mark him at the 9-yard line, and I think he may have gotten enough.
Yeah,
it's actually not enough. Not enough there as Rosa is stopped short on down, so a bold call there by the Wilcox offense, and they do not get enough. So a turnover on downs, and Homestead takes over at their own 11-yard line.
Yeah, but I like that call. I mean, you know, given that their defense has shown its former self here, you play all 4 downs and then you make Homestead try and make something out of it. So I think I probably would have done the same thing if I was Mr. Rosa.
So it's been a very unusual first half. Homestead will now take over. At their own 11-yard line, Latini is in motion. And Damore was whipped around. There's going to be all sorts of flags coming in for that one. That's definitely a face mask, as Ryan Damore did well just to escape the pressure on that one. But as he was tackled, there are definitely some flags flying in.
Face mask on the defense, 15 yards into the run, first down.
So there you hear it, a 15-yard penalty for a face mask, and that was pretty obvious as Damore got spun around like a top as he was trying to escape the pressure. So 15 yards at the end of that run. So automatic first down for Homestead as they get
Ryan
into
Damore.
They will have the ball at their own 27-yard line as they have a first down there. And by my count, that's already the 3rd penalty on Wilcox here in the first half.
Yeah, and although it's their 3rd penalty and they've had about 30 yards in penalties so far, this is uncharacteristically clean of Wilcox because we've seen worse.
They've had their issues with penalties all season long, and that's definitely something they want to clean up towards the end of the regular season before they go into postseason play. 1st and 10, Latini goes in motion. The handoff going up the middle. That was Lea Pepe Tele with the handoff, it looks like. But Robert Padilla met him right at the line of scrimmage. And that'll be a gain of 1 on the play. So 2nd and 9 for Homestead, as they continue to try to run that ball right at this Wilcox front 7.
Yeah, they really have tried to stick with running in between the tackles, and looks like Wilcox's defense has figured that out and tightened it up just a little bit.
Second and 9 for Homestead. And that is Latini trying to get to the outside on that play and couldn't quite get to the edge. Gains 1-2 yards on that play. We are beyond the 30-yard line at this point, so they will officially mark it as a gain of 4. So this is now 3rd and 6. Homestead going at it from their own 32-yard line. Damore is under center. Rolls to his right. Nearly tripped up by Flores. Crosses the 35. Gets a first down. Rosa wraps him up before he can go any further, but they will move the sticks, however. Nice awareness there by Damore to escape the pressure and keep this drive alive for Homestead. You know, with 2:39 left to go in this one, Homestead still very much in this one as they only trail 14-7.
Yeah, we actually expected the game to look a little different at this point, Phil. But
very much so, yes.
Homestead's shown a lot of fight, and that was a heck of a run to get away from all that pressure.
Well, Homestead also, we talked about this too, they are looking for their first win overall on the season. And what a feather in the cap it would be if they came in and stole one here in Santa Clara tonight.
Absolutely.
Damore drops back, looks to his left, going towards the far sideline, looking for Solorio. It's incomplete. Singh was there on the cover, far sideline. So 2nd and 10 on that one, and Damore has yet to complete a pass this evening.
Yeah, he's struggled all night to find the handle on that ball. But again, credit Singh. I mean, every time he's been in coverage tonight, he's been exactly where you wanted him to be.
Well, Singh is one of these new starters coming into this year, and he's availed himself well playing in that corner position opposite of Cooper. Does lead the team in interceptions, and we've seen some of his abilities as a playmaker early on in the year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had 3 interceptions total on the year. And
Martini takes the handoff. He tries to get to the edge. And absolutely nowhere for him to go, and that was Poliviati who makes the stop at the far sideline. No gain on that play, so this will now be 3rd and 10 for Homestead. And looks to be a timeout being called. I'm going to guess it's by Wilcox because Homestead doesn't have any timeouts to speak of. So stoppage in play, 1:53 remaining here in this first half. And at some point, Paul, we're definitely going to have to talk about what the postseason journey might look like, because even though the players may not look too far ahead on this matchup, because we're in the press box, we can.
Yeah, we absolutely can. Yeah, we were just looking at that, and they, so far they look like that they're going to be the top seed in their class, which I believe is the Open Division 2. So, tough road ahead of them. They certainly have to tighten up on some of their mistakes if they're going to go very far in that playoff bracket.
Well, with the changes that the CCS made as far as football postseason goes, Open Division 2 champion may have a chance to play for a state title as well. So there's a lot more on the line this time around.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
Damore dropping back, looking to his left to get the screen going. Latini makes the catch, but Ray Orozco was right there to make the tackle. Nowhere to go for Latini, as this will now be a 4th down with 1:38 remaining. A timeout being called by Wilcox to preserve some time. So 1:38 remaining before halftime, as Wilcox would love to get some more points on the board to head into halftime, which has been, this first half, let's just say it's been interesting.
Yeah, a little sloppy, I would say. you know, not Wilcox's most crisp football, but credit Homestead for, you know, showing a lot of fight out there tonight.
They definitely have shown a lot of fight. I know I've talked about this already, but I think they really showed that they were here to play tonight with that opening drive they put together. As you mentioned, it was 17 plays, took off 9 minutes off the clock, went 85 yards for a touchdown. Ever since that time, Wilcox's defense has tightened up, but I have to tell you, I expected a little more from Wilcox's offense in the first half.
Yeah, you really haven't seen quite the firepower that you normally see out of Wilcox. They're usually a lot faster off the mark here tonight. So
would it be fair to say they may have been a little flat?
I would say that that's a very fair statement, Phil.
So Lorio with the snap, he gets this punt away. It's a high, shallow kick once again, not a whole lot in the way of yardage. This will roll out of bounds. They will officially mark it at the 35-yard line, and that is where Wilcox will take over. 1:30 left in this first half. And as mentioned, Wilcox did win the toss, and they did defer, so they will get the opening kickoff of the second half. So this is a very prime opportunity for them to really make that strategy pay off, because if you can score here towards the end of the first half and then you get the ball for the opening possession in the second half, you really double up on your advantage.
Yeah, and you could, you know, they could certainly put the game away if they put a couple of scores here between the closing drive here and the opening drive on the second half. So hopefully they can find their mojo.
1st and 10 from their own 35. Adame on the QB keeper. It's a nice yardage there, crossing the 40-yard line. They mark him at the 43. Gain of 8 on that play. And you can see Wilcox hustling to the line of scrimmage. They're definitely getting that no-huddle offense going. Clock continues to roll, 1:12 and counting. Adame to Herrera, gets more than enough for the first down as he crosses the 45-yard line, gets to the 47. Clock will stop to adjust the chains, so we'll be 1:06. But the no-huddle offense is in full force right now. Good start here for Wilcox as they try to march down the field to get to that end zone. 1st and 10, we are within 1 minute. And Adame drops back, looks to his left, looking for Rosa on the wheel route, and he overshoots him just a little bit. It was right out of the reach of Rosa. He felt it in his fingertips, but incomplete, however, and that's been a big-time play for the Wilcox Charger offense. And this time, Adame just put a little too much on that throw.
But I tell you, if he'd softened that up just a little bit, Rosa would have been off to the promised land because he had that guy beat.
He's always so dangerous when you get him to the outside. We've already mentioned how tough of a runner he is going between the tackles, but it's really on the outside, out on the edges where he's really special.
Where you can open up that speed that he has.
52.8 seconds left, 2nd and 10. They put Rosa in the slot to the left. Herrera's the only back in the backfield. And Adame will drop back to pass again. Great step up in the pocket. Going for Cooper Jr. over the middle. Incomplete, but there are flags on the play, and I believe that was Odor with the coverage, and they're going to flag him for pass interference. We'll await the call, however, but I think this is going to be very favorable for Wilcox this time.
On the defense, 15-yard line of scrimmage, 1st down.
So 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage as Cooper had Odor beat, and we talked about that matchup already where we definitely think that Cooper has a speed and just overall athleticism advantage over the much smaller corner.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And, you know, Wilcox has worked on that matchup a couple of times tonight. Unfortunately, Adame seems to have had a little bit of trouble finding his accuracy tonight.
It's been an overall flat first half for the Wilcox Charger offense, but they have an opportunity to capitalize. Ball at their own 39-yard line. Here is Adame once again, looking for Cooper. He's got his man beat. Can he get this one down? He does not. Another flag comes in again, and I think they're going to flag Odor for pass interference for the 2nd time tonight. And he is hopping mad, and well, unfortunately, I think there's not a whole lot he could do because had he not committed the PI, Cooper may be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely had a hand on him. You could see he slowed Cooper up just enough to break up that pass. But unfortunately, it was illegal play.
So for Wilcox, you couldn't have asked for anything better as they will move the ball up another 15 yards on this penalty here. So back-to-back penalties against Homestead as they will spot this ball inside the Homestead red zone from what we can tell. Actually, this will be at the 23-yard line.
Yep.
So close to the red zone at the very least. 42.7 seconds left. Wilcox looking to extend their 14-7 lead. Dame feeling the pressure, steps up in the pocket, goes for the end zone to Rosa, and that is batted away. It is incomplete.
Another flag.
And another flag as LaRue was on the coverage in the end zone. And it looks like we have a Wilcox lineman that is a little slow to get up, and that looks to be Osiris Nico, the big tackle, and this is not a good sign as he is having a hard time putting weight on that left leg of his.
Defensive pass interference. It's going to be half the distance to the goal. First down.
So that's got to be a source of concern for the Wilcox offense as Samuel Alolo will check in to fill in and play tackle for the time being while Nico gets looked at. And he's going right over to the trainer's table, so hopefully we'll have an update for you if we can get any news on him, but hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, it looked like it was starting to walk a little better, so hopefully it's just a little bit of a strain.
Ball's at the Homestead 11. There's the pitch to Herrera. They draw the Homestead defense right in, and Herrera will dive into the end zone, but he's going to be a little bit short as he was upended by a Homestead defender. He does get the first down, however. They get to the 2-yard line for Homestead. 16 seconds left. They're going to try and get this ball off very quickly. And a flag comes in before the ball is snapped.
Yep.
And they do get Wilcox for a false start, so hold the phone on everything. 11.4 seconds to go here in this first half, but Wilcox is threatening to stretch this out to a 21-7 lead before halftime.
Wilcox.
Wilcox is going to use this chance to call a final timeout, so no team with any timeouts left. And this will be a 2nd and 6 to go, I want to say. The ball was on the 1-yard line, but they will back it up here about 5 yards. This will be 2nd and 5. And once again, what we were talking about is that this drive here for the Wilcox Chargers, it's been primarily fueled by Homestead penalties, and you have to think if Wilcox comes away with anything less than a touchdown, they'd have to be a little unsatisfied.
Yeah, you absolutely have to be if you're Wilcox. And I think the other good piece of good news is I saw Osiris Nico walking around, so it looks like he'll be okay and probably back the second half. It's like they might take him off to have a second look at him, but he looks like he's walking pretty good.
Well, it's definitely a good sign if you're the Wilcox Chargers, because Osiris Nico has been a big part as to why this offense has been so successful this year.
And really, that whole Wilcox O-line has been fantastic all year.
2nd and 4, Adame in the shotgun. Looking at the far corner of the end zone for Rosa and overshot him badly. And that's the 2nd or 3rd time that has happened. And Rosa had nobody around him. And so Adame just put a little too much on that throw. Clock stops at 6.7 seconds remaining. And this is a 3rd and goal to go situation now.
Looks like they're bringing the kicking team out.
And I think you are correct on this one. Rosa probably, head coach Paul Rosa wants to come away with some points before halftime. Sure, he envisioned a touchdown at the end of that one, but they will bring Flores out for the field goal. He is 3 of 5 on field goal kicks for the season, has a long of 30. This looks to be 23-yard attempts, so pretty makeable for his leg. The snap is down. The kick is blocked, and it's no good. Special teams has not only been a big part for Wilcox on the defensive side, but it's also caused them some problems on the offensive side now. So Flores not able to get enough lift on that kick. And with the field goal no good, that has to be a win for the Homestead defense.
Yeah, absolutely, because they were looking at a situation where they could have come in down 21-7, and you go in at halftime 14-7, so very much still in the game.
No timeouts on either side, so most likely this could be the final play of the first half. Remember, Wilcox deferred after winning the opening toss, so they will get the ball starting in the second half. But not before this final play for Homestead. Demore the snap at the shotgun. He's going to lob this one deep, looking for Rucker. It is incomplete. The alarm sounds, and that is going to be
the way this first half ends for both teams and for Homestead. What a surprising showing that they've had here going into this one. They only trail 14-7 to your Wilcox Chargers, and we will step away for just a few minutes. When we come back, we will have a first half recap and get you ready for the second half, live from Fitzpatrick Field on the campus of Wilcox High School in Santa Clara. Don't go away. More to come on the Charger Sports Network in just a few moments.